Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Cheng and I'm the founder of Malaysian Business Network. Thank you for attending this webinar. And so let's get started right away. Let me just put it in full screen. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Facebook marketing for any business, right? Okay. Right. So the first thing is we got to understand that before we market on Facebook, there is a generational gap. What I mean by that is basically there's 4 different generations actually in Facebook right now. There's the baby boomer born between 1946 to 1964. And of course there's the Generation X, which is born between 1965 to 1977. And the Generation Y, which is the digital generation, born between 1978 to 2000. And of course there's the Generation Z, which is born between 2000 and beyond. Right, so obviously the 4 types of different generation people here, they speak in a different language because of their age. Right, so that's a quick brief on the different generations on Facebook. Let me just quickly go to Facebook and show you guys through the advertising engine the different types of people there which we can actually check out. So first thing we got to go is facebook.com/advertising, right? And straight away log in to manage your existing ads, and click my account. I manage a few advertising accounts, and yeah, so this is a Facebook advertising manager. I'll click create an ad and quickly show you. Let's say I like to advertise Malaysian Business Network, right? And but more importantly, I want to bring your attention towards this area here. We've got 15 million Malaysians above age 13 to 65, right? The maximum here is actually 65, but no max. I think it goes beyond that. Right, so obviously if you want to actually look at the different age group, you can actually just segment it in such a way. You can put in, let's say, 20 to age 35. Okay, and we'll be looking at 8.4 million people, which is in the Generation Y category, right? So Gen X, you can go by, I think, about 35 to 45. That's it. We are looking about 2 million of them, and 45 above is the baby boomer generation, and no max. We are looking close to about 1.2 million baby boomers, the older generation, right? And obviously anybody below 20 years old, right? 13, right up to 20, 19, yeah? We're looking at about 3.6 million of them, okay, which is the Generation Z, right? It really represents nicely what Facebook is all about. At this point, the older generation are still jumping on board, and the digital generation forms close to 60% of them, and of course the Generation Z is fast catching up with about 4 million. That's in Malaysia, right? So the other website I just want to actually quickly highlight is actually internetworldstats.com, and you guys can actually see that under Asia stats we can actually see some good numbers here, right? We're looking at close to about 2.5 billion people. Let me just off my Skype here, okay? Right, 2.5 billion people in the world that is using the internet, and 1 billion of them is actually on Facebook. So that's an amazing amount, because it's pretty much like 40 to 50% people on Facebook, which is actually relative to the amount of users online. On Asia alone, we have close to about 1 billion users internet, and about 250 million users on Facebook. Let me just click into Asia only and show you some stats. And let's talk about Malaysia alone. In Malaysia, we have a population of about 29 million. And 10 years ago, we have 4 million online users. Today, we have 17 million online users. Let me just make it bigger for you guys to see this, right? And our internet penetration rate is about 60%. Out of the 17 million people who is online in Malaysia, 14 million is actually on Facebook. So that's like 60-70% over this amount of numbers, right? So that's a huge market in Facebook if you know what you're doing in terms of marketing and branding online in Facebook, right? Okay, let me just continue from here. One more thing I want you guys to notice is let's go to crunchbase.com, right? And in crunchbase.com, let's do a little bit of research on Facebook, the company, and let's do some fact finding here. Why is it going to be here to stay compared to other social networks like Friendster and MySpace, right? Currently, they raise close to about 16 billion bucks, right, in terms of funding, right? And obviously, there are big companies that has invested into Facebook. Let me bring your attention towards the left side. They have acquired so many different companies from Goala right up to all these startups, right? And let me just move on down here to the funding side of things, right? The funding, the Hong Kong Lee Ka-shing tycoon, the real estate tycoon, is actually an investor twice, as you can see here. Right here one time, right here the second time, right? Let me just make it big for you guys to see this, right? Apart from that, there is also Microsoft, who put in about $250 million bucks, right? As you can see here. And all these are like Wall Street guys. Peter Thiel is the co-founder of PayPal, initial 500,000. And of course, all these other Goldman Sachs is actually another investor that put in about 1.5 billion. And because of the traction which Facebook has currently, which they already have close to 1 billion users, no other social network has actually achieved that. MySpace, I think, is I don't know, you guys may want to check this out. They may have about 500 million before it slowly phase off. Friendster 100 million, but Facebook, we don't see any sign of it stopping at this point, right? It becomes a de facto standard for social networking of the world at this point, right? So let's move on from here. So why did I need to show this generational gaps slide? Is because when we look at Facebook, we got to see it from a holistic point of view. Older people speak differently, younger people speak differently, and we have to know the numbers as well using the Facebook advertising tool, right? So let's move on to the next slide. And since Generation Y consists about 60% of the Facebook generation, so we got to understand a little bit more about this market. So Generation Y has, I've picked this up from the internet and did some research. They have 8 things which you don't want to mess with, right? These are like their Gen Y Bible, right? What is the Gen Y Bible? They want freedom in everything that they do. Don't micromanage them. They love to customize and personalize. Give them a company car or a corporate laptop, they'll change the wallpaper into something else, which they like to personalize into maybe a Ferrari or a hot chick. They are scrutinizers and check people up online before they work for them. Basically, they Google you up before and find out who you are before they want to work for you. Okay, which is not a privilege which the previous generations has. They look for corporate integrity and openness. Basically, they like to, let me just actually quickly highlight it while I speak. Right, just get a pen out here, red color. Right, right. Corporate integrity and openness. Right. Basically, they like to be equal treated as a friend rather than being condescending. Don't tell them what to do. Give them, empower them with tasks and let them do it themselves. They like entertainment and play in their work. Basically, don't take away Facebook and YouTube, right? Just set policies and manage it, right? If not, they'll think that you are uncool to work for and work with. They like to connect a lot because they are collaboration and relationship generation. They like to get things up fast because of they can actually Google things up really fast and actually come up with pretty good stuff in a very short time. And they are also innovators, right? They can actually mesh together two different pieces of ideas and come up with a new idea and ultimately actually produce some good stuff from there as well. So that is the Generation Y. Let me just clean this up before we move on to the next slide. Okay? Right. Right. Okay. So okay, let me just get this right. So would you sell some stuff to this guy right here? Okay. Some people will say, oh no, because he wears slippers and jeans and just a t-shirt, and maybe Generation Y don't have money to buy stuff from me. So you may not want to think like that or stereotype them like that, because Generation Y, this guy is really Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, he's the founder of Facebook. Okay, I think he's worth, I don't know, $5 billion now, and he can actually buy anything you want to sell to him, right? So Generation Y currently, their character is basically, they don't need to be that formal, but they need to be, they want to be casual. Look at this guy here, just a t-shirt, okay, and it's one of the co-workers of Mark in Facebook in their simple office, and they have a very simple open office concept, right? So what are the demographics in Facebook? I did show you. We have close to about 1 billion users. Okay, in Malaysia alone, we have 15 million in Facebook, 60% on Generation Y. That's why we are studying Generation Y very closely before we do marketing, because these guys are going to have what we call as disposable income power, right? And that's what you want to market. And this is the generation you want to market to, disposable income power. Okay. Let me just move on, right? Let me just clear this up and move on. Oops. All right. So before we actually explore further, let me explain a little bit about social media. Social media divided in simplistic form is divided into 4 categories, which is social networks like Facebook, their forums, blogs, and wikis. These are the big 4 categories of social media, right? I'm not too sure about other guys who actually see social media like 36 categories, but I like to simplify things. These are the 4 categories of social media. And what this part means, let me just actually highlight this part. Whoops. Right. Okay, let me just simplify this part. Let me just get the pen right. Okay. So social media is divided into 4 categories, social networks, and what we want to talk about is really what is Web 2.0 right here, okay? Before year 2004, we were living in something called the Web 1.0, right? And after 2004, we are living in the world of Web 2.0. So this, in its simplest sense, let me just change that color, and in its simplest view is really to one-way communication, where you have websites like those 5-page websites, okay, about us, contact us, products and services, and inquiries, and that's it. You can't speak back to the website. But in Web 2.0, it's two-way communication. basically when you blog or you say something online, people can actually feedback to you and comment back and talk to you, right? And give you some feedback, right there and then. Pretty much like Facebook, you can comment back or even dislike an advertisement and even interact with other users. So it's like two-way communication, right? We are actually in the age of Web 3.0 and even some coin already 4.0, but let's not go into that. Let's just say the web has evolved from a one-way communication, traditional media type of communication, to a two-way or multiple ways of communication, right? And these are the platforms in which you can communicate with others on the web. So that's the era of Web 2.0 and beyond, so that we understand what's happening here and how we tie in back to Facebook, which is one of those Web 2.0 engines right now on the internet, right? Let me just hopefully get this right again. Okay. And and of course, Facebook is built upon a concept called 6 degrees of separation, right? Let me just get this into red again. So the concept of 6 degrees of separation simply means with 6 connections, a straight line to anybody will actually find the person in which you want to connect with, assuming this is your long lost cousin somewhere, okay, distant cousin, right, assuming. So if you get to ask somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody else who knows somebody else, and on the 6th level you actually find your long lost cousin somewhere in another part of the world, or even if this is a celebrity, okay, somehow through 6 levels of communication right here, 6 levels, okay, you will, or less, right, or maybe a little bit more, okay, but the moment you hit 6, basically because everybody knows somebody, like this guy may know 120 people and this guy may know 120 people, right? Once that happens, you'll definitely get to know the person which you want to get to know, right? So that is the concept of 6 degrees separation, which is something which is built upon as a foundation in Facebook, right? So Facebook has this thing called mutual friends. So what that simply means is it's very good for word of mouth, right? Because everybody knows everybody, and if you do a good job, then you will actually have good word of mouth for your brand and for your product, and ultimately increase in sales and profits, right? So that's a quick one. And let me just get this right again, clean this up, click here, and move on. So one more concept I'd like to actually share before we move into the specifics and the tactics within Facebook which we can use to actually create profits and revenue for our business or intended business is the concept of 6 social technographics. Let me just get this up and let's draw some stuff. So if you start with social technographics is actually created by these amazing smart people from Forrester Research. It's a market research company, right? It says people generally engage social media or even online technologies in different levels, right? The first level is actually the inactives. The inactives basically means these guys, they don't care really about technology. They don't really care about any form of digital platforms. All they think about is TV, radio, newspaper, and the most astro, right? And they may not actually engage online in any way, right? So that is inactives, people who don't really engage with technology. That's the lowest form of technology engagement from this person. Then we move up the ladder. Okay, as you can see, this is a ladder. Okay, spectators are people who read blogs, watch videos, and listen to podcasts. They consume, but they don't join any social platform. So these two people are a bit disconnected socially, online socially, all right? Disconnected socially, online, okay, because they don't engage. Then at this level, we will look at joiners, all right? Joiners are people who maintain a social network profile and visit social networking sites. People have their login, and just check out what other people are doing and comment and just hang out in social networks. And of course, there are the collectors, people who download stuff and consume, and some of them download white papers and research papers and ebooks and even videos for self-consumption. And of course, there are also the critics, right? The critics, what they do is they post ratings and reviews. They comment on someone else's blog. They even comment like on your Facebook picture and say your dress looks really nice on you and your baby is really cute. So those are critics. And critics doesn't really mean it's only negative. Critics also mean it could be positive, right? Right. So of course, the highest level of social technographics engagement in the ladder is the creators. Creators are generally people who publish a blog, who publish their own web pages. They even have their own YouTube channel and upload original stuff and write articles and stories and post them and let other people like critics to comment on them. So these are the 6 levels of engagement from different types of markets and audience which you should be taking care of. How do you actually market to a joiner? How do you market to a collector? How do you market to a critic? Or how do you market to a creator? How do you even leverage creators and critics for word of mouth, right? So these 2 guys right here are actually good for word of mouth. So before even doing the tactic, you got to actually smoke them out and understand who you are dealing with so that you can leverage their word of mouth and their audience as well, the critics and the creators. Because the rest of these 4 categories down here don't really actually help tell other people about your stuff online. They may do it offline for you. So this is online word of mouth, and these guys are all offline word of mouth, right? So, but once you get these guys can influence these guys, right, to talk to you, to talk about your stuff, and even these guys, right? Because some of these guys up here or down here could be young guys who actually have access to the older guys who are inactives, right? The moment you get them online, they go back home, they tell their parents about your products and services, and the spectators and inactives, which is generally the older generation, will actually be influenced by the younger generation and ultimately make a buying decision for your product. So, okay, that's a quick concept here, which hopefully you guys grasp this new mindset and thinking and audience management, or even if you want marketing segmentation in terms of social technographics apart from demographics, geographics, and psychographics. Right, okay, let me just clear this and just move on to the next one. Okay, one more concept which I need to introduce before we dive into the Facebook components is basically, let me just get this right again, social dynamics, right? Okay, what's social dynamics? It's really your credibility. It's really an attention economy, how well you get attention for your products and services. Okay, and what economy are we in right now? So if we really think about it, we are now in the attention economy versus the capital economy. You know, in 10 years back, you just need to have a lot of money and dump it into traditional media, and everybody will know about you, and they can't say much about you because there's no two-way communication, right? So, but with the attention economy, with the advent of Web 2.0, you could actually be a broke, but if you know how to get attention via social media, you could be very rich because of that, right? So capital economy is less important from the attention economy. So does money really matter? Secondary, because if you know how to gather the right attention and the branding, you can make a lot of money. Capital follows after attention, right? With this new social arena and atmosphere happening and social trend. So when we talk about social currency, it's really how strong is your influence. Okay, are you searchable online? Are you able to be found online? And how many followers do you have? And how influential are you online to review a product or actually let people know about other things and issues that people will follow your views, and ultimately these views can be converted to sales because it influences a buying decision, right? So, okay, so that's social dynamics and social currency. And let's move on to the next one. Right. So the old school marketing flow really says this: advertise and wait for returns, high cost, and channel use are newspaper, TV, and radio. So these are all the old school channels, which is uncool as compared to right now, what with all the advent of social media and online networking and Facebook and stuff, right? People don't even actually engage with this traditional media anymore. One more, when you put so much money in this traditional media, it may not yield the profits and the results you want. So might as well go to a better place, a better, which is Facebook advertising and Facebook branding and Facebook marketing. So let's dwell into it a little bit more. Okay, the new school of marketing funnel is actually attention, like, trust, and buy, right? So let me illustrate this slide a little bit more. Attention means you got to get positive attention. Let me just draw this, right? Attention. Let me just get this. Right. So you got to get past positive attention, and how do you do it is by giving value. All right. So you got to learn how to give value before you actually can get positive attention. Pretty much like if you want to actually talk to a girl, a pretty girl in the bar, the first thing you got to do for her is actually not go up there and kiss her and get a tight slap, but you got to go up to her and actually give her a drink, and that is value to her. And maybe you can actually get her to like you by chatting her up after giving her that drink. So giving value could be that drink. But how do you do it online, right? That drink online could be a free ebook or free tips or a free video which you can give away, right? So that you can actually get their attention, a positive one, because you're giving value. And chatting means once you get their attention, you can comment, you can chat them up on Facebook, you can continue to build relationship, and if you do it consistently and consistently give value, and they will, from the like stage, they come to the point of the trust stage, which they will ultimately believe and follow what you say. Okay? When they believe and follow what you say, you can actually influence them to a buying decision, right? Pretty much like you give a drink to the girl, you chat her up, you respect her, and ultimately you date her a few times, you let her know that you're serious about stuff and you're kind to her, and you give her enough value. Ultimately, you pop the ring and propose to her, and that's where she buys into your proposal, right? So that's a quick explanation of what attention, like, trust, and buy is all about in the new school of marketing. It's more like pull and push marketing. In the old school marketing, it's really about pushing the pitch and the sales pitch to the buyer or the prospect. In the new school marketing, it's really about pulling and attracting people to a buying decision, right? Through giving value first. So let me just get it, clean this up and move on. So how do you maximize FB for your business, no matter what business it is? It could be a traditional business, it could be an IT business, it could be a MLM business, a network marketing business, it could be a financial unit trust insurance business, it could be a real estate business. It really doesn't matter, because with 1 billion prospects, or in Malaysia itself, there's 15 million prospects with 60% Generation Y and about 20% Gen X and baby boomers combined. So you practically have about close to 10 million prospects in Facebook for any business, right? So how do you actually maximize FB for your business? Right, so let's move on to the next slide, which will actually illustrate everything. So a lot of people, when they look at Facebook, right, let me just get this up and right here. A lot of people, when they look at Facebook, they only look at the profile, but they forget about the fan page, they forget about the groups, they forget about the advertisement component, they forget about the chat, events, and apps. They just use their profile to spam, 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 and say, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, I've got something to sell. So I'm just going to do a quick illustration of the difference between a profile and a fan page, and hopefully a little bit of groups. And I'll take some time to explain each and every one of this so that we can actually study together what all this is really about. Okay, let me just clean this up and click this and click this back, and I'm going to drag my browser, okay, from here. Alright, okay, I'm just going to drag the browser and put it right here, and so that we can understand this a little bit better, and open two tabs here. First thing is I'm going to go to my profile, right, and now my profile is this. Okay, so that is my profile. As you can see, it's a very family-centric profile, right? And a lot of people may think this is a fan page, and let me just go to my fan page, right? So a lot of people don't understand the difference between the two, right? And I'm just going to drag this out and put it side by side for you guys to see it and to understand the difference, right? Okay, and some may not even notice the difference, right? But I'll attempt to crystallize this off the chat. Okay, turn off the chat. Okay, and hide the chat so that you guys can see the two browsers on the screen here. Okay, let me just move that a little bit away. And some may think there's no difference between the two, right? So what's the difference? Okay, this is Vincent Cheng, and this is Vincent Cheng, right? Some people really don't understand the difference between a fan page and a profile. So if you actually want to guess, and I'll give you the answer right now. Let me just get my red pen here up for you guys to see. This is a profile, and this is a fan page. And what is the different usage of each, right? A fan page has fans and likes. A profile has friends, and one more big difference is, if you really look at, let me show you this. This is a fan page. You can actually show the data within the fan page. Let me just click into a fan page. A profile don't have this. You can't actually do analytics and insights and studies and statistics, right, on a profile. So, but a profile needs to be around first to start a fan page. You can create unlimited fan page using a profile, right? Let me just go into this insights, and I'm just going to click this, right? And I can even know how many people are actually from which country liking my fan page, sorry. Right, so for this area on the left here, it's actually profile. I can't check which country they are from, and there's no analytics at this point. And then Facebook, right? So as you can see, I've got about 4.7 thousand Malaysians liking this page, and 3,000 are from the United States, 1,000 from the Indonesia, and 500 from UK. So I'm just going to actually expand this and show you guys this, right? And clean that up. Right, so that's how it looks like. This is what we call the insights, right? INSIGHTS. You can actually do some research on the statistics within your website, your fan page, as well as you can actually know the percentage of people which is inside which age group within your fan page. So it's like I've got a lot of people from male people, 64% of them between the age 25 and 34. So female about 12.2% on that age group, right? From the overall of my 100% of the audience and the fans within my fan page itself. So that's a quick difference between a fan profile and a fan page. Okay, let me just show you guys again. Right, it looks pretty much the same if you really look at it. Okay, but there's a huge difference if you know how you navigate around Facebook. Right, I'm just gonna get my pen again. One more last time. I'm just gonna actually show you the difference. This is a profile, and this is a fan page. Okay, so there's a difference. And obviously, what do you do here? You share family and social stuff, right? You share about business stuff here. So if some attempt to use profile to do all the business stuff and it turns into spam, don't do that, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna actually remove this browser stuff and get back to my slide and slowly explain the difference between each one of these components within Facebook, which you can do for marketing for any business, literally, whether it's B2B, B2C, B2G, you know, doesn't really matter because everybody's connected, and using the concept of 6 degrees of separation, you'll get to know whoever you want to get to know if you know what you're doing using Facebook and for branding and marketing. Okay, let me just move on here. Okay, so now we have actually examined. Okay, let me just, okay. So we have examined profile, and profile you can create unlimited fan page, one-to-many relationship. You can create many fan page. Okay, but you need one profile. One profile to start off creating many fan page, right? And in profile you talk about social and family stuff, personal stuff. Okay, so that you attract people with your life story, right? In fan page, you do branding for your business, for your product, for your professional services. All right, and you actually sell there. Okay, and what do you do in groups? In groups is basically you group the right interests and like-minded people. Okay, assuming you are in the travel industry, let's say, you group people in the travel and then you create a group for travel lovers or something like that, and you get a lot of people there, and obviously then you send them back to your fan page so that they can actually buy your travel tickets or your travel products. Okay, so this is like discussion, like going to a class or a focus group of travel lovers. Then you send them to a fan page where you pitch them with your products, right? Of course, you can use advertising to increase your number of fan page. Okay, send the audience to your fan page, right? And obviously, once they come into your fan page, you can actually use chat to build relationship and close the sale. And close sale using the chat, right? And of course, you can actually launch events if your products require offline closing. Then you launch an event using Facebook events. And apps, you can actually create an app into the fan page in order for you to create a viral or value stuff to attract more fans. Okay, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. These are just concepts, and what does it look like when it's in action, right? So I'm just going to clean that up, right, quickly, and get back here, and make a click here, and I'm going to pull back one of my stuff. One of my fan page here. Okay, let me just quickly facebook.com/Malaysian Real Estate Network. Okay, we have got an app here that basically is a window that pulls all the information from another website. This section here, the blue area here, is actually another website from outside, which is being pulled and shown through this Facebook app window, right? So an app basically is connecting a Facebook component to the outside world, which is in the form of a website, right? So this web page is hosted somewhere outside on on my server somewhere on the internet, and it's just a page that displays this series of video tips. And with this video tips, before they can actually get this video, they need to click like, and after they click like, it'll be shared on their wall, and when it's shared on their wall, other people will see it. So that's why we can create some viral effect using apps and gather some attention into your fan page right here. Okay. Apart from that, obviously you can create events. Okay, you can go to facebook.com/events to create events for whatever business which you are running. Okay. And as you can see, there's so many events, and in events you can actually invite people. Let me show you. You can actually invite people into your event so that they can turn up to your event and you can do sales closing, right? So that is a Facebook event. Of course, you can chat them up using the chat when in some ways they are already in your fan page or in your Facebook profile and close the sale. And obviously groups. If you really type about groups, let's say real estate group, okay? Find all groups named real estate, okay? Right, so these are all the real estate people, and you can join these groups or create one so that everybody can talk about real estate, and ultimately you guys can strike some business deals there. And of course, ask them to visit your fan page from a group to a fan page so that your fan page becomes an authority and a good branding and exposure for your business once you invite the people from the group, right? Okay, so the next thing which we want to explore is obviously one of the most important one is advertising, right? Just going to actually go into my facebook.com/advertising ad manager again. How do you access Facebook advertising? You go to facebook.com/advertising. All right, right here. So click login to manage existing ads, and I click to my account. Okay, I manage quite a few accounts, as you can see, in Facebook advertising. I do some coaching and I help my students on launch advertising as well. Okay, and obviously you can create an ad, and you can practically advertise to anywhere. Right, so let me just pick Malaysian Business Network. If I want to increase the amount of people in my fan page, I can actually advertise the Malaysian Business Network for youth or Malaysian Business Network. If you are saying, Vincent, why can't I advertise in my group? Let's go for another group which I have called, it's a Malaysian Business Network group, groups, that Malaysian Business Network group 3. If I want to advertise to here, it's also possible because I can just copy this link and advertise it here by placing the entire link here, right? So I'm just going to X that and paste my entire group link there and see it as a, so it picks it up as a group within Facebook because Facebook is intelligent enough to recognize it is actually their own group and their own component, right? So furthermore, you can actually see that you can advertise to any form of people with different interests. Let's say you're talking about gardening, you can actually target gardening people in Malaysia, and there's about 104,000 prospects here, and you can actually place a budget of how much you want to pay for each click and how long you want to run the campaign using Facebook. So these are basically some of the different components within Facebook which you can use for your business, right? So let me just illustrate it one more time. That's the Facebook profile, there's the Facebook fan page, and that's the Facebook groups, advertising, chat, events, and apps. You need a profile to create a fan page, right? And yeah, so from here you can actually understand that Facebook is more than just a profile when you do business, right? You can actually use all these other components to create a holistic experience for your customer or for your prospect and your demographics, so that you can succeed in business, right, using Facebook. So let's move on to the next slide. So other online channels and tools which you can use obviously is search engines, Facebook profile, Facebook fan page, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, and also a blog. So these are also the tools which you can send your traffic and your attention from Facebook to, right? So you can build a holistic experience, so others may be able to see your stuff. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to take questions at the end of the presentation. So let me just finish the webinar. Okay. And so for those of you who would like to actually know more about Facebook and how to use Facebook marketing for your business, if you're serious to take your business to the next level, you can actually go to nextidea.my/FB workshop. Thank you for joining us and in this webinar, and please do take action from here. So consider this webinar presentation ended.